of the morning prep news family. Hope everyone has had a great and exciting morning. I hope some great things have happened for you all um, on the beginning of this school week, work week, uh, for the little babies at daycare week. uh, everybody has to play a part in this journey we call life, and it's a great journey that we go on. Joining us this morning today as our guest, uh, newly minted, newly crowned head coach of the Airline Lady Vikings basketball program. Please welcome us in joining Tucker Cox. What's up, Coach?
Hey, how's it going?
It's great, man. It's great. How are you on this beautiful day?
Man, I'm just out here thriving.
Yeah, hey, that's a great thing to have happen on a Monday because most people be crying, "Oh, it's Monday. Woe is me. Woe is me. I can't do anything because I partied all weekend." Toughen up, softy. Toughen.
Right?
You made a personal choice on party like a rock star. Nah, just kidding, just kidding. We don't do that in the sports world, man. We only focus on things that are important to us, and that's these high school student athletes, right?
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry, I lost you for just a second.
I said we only focus on these high school student athletes, not party like rock stars, right?
No, we ain't got time for that.
So, uh, generally, we were first timers. We always ask them to start with a little bio of themselves and give as much or as little as they like to give us. And so we're going to afford you the same opportunity.
You ready for me?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm waiting on you, Coach.
Okay. So like you said, Tucker Cox, graduate of Airline High School, 2011. Been at Parkway now for 7 years. I started at Northwestern State, played with Coach Mike McConaughey my first year, then transferred down to Bibbsey to play for Joe St. Andre, and then walked on over to Louisiana Tech for a little while before I tore my ACL. And so, just being surrounded by lots of men, um, just great role models in basketball, figures in this area of basketball and success. And, got lucky enough to get on over here
Right.
at Parkway. And, funny story is that when I first got on over here, I was working with the boys with Coach Guest and Coach Rayner, and swore up and down, I will never do girls basketball. I refuse to do girls basketball. Couldn't stand it. Anytime that, going on before to play, the girls would play in front of us, I'm like, come on, man, let's just get this thing over with so the boys can play.
Right.
Now I'm, state champion as assistant girls team and head coach now of my own girls team. It's just kind of funny how it all turns full circle of, saying what you'd never do, and then there's always a greater plan for you out there that you think you've got your own best interest at heart. But
Right. Right.
so
Hey, I remember when I first met Coach Guest and Coach Rayner at Parkway, man. Coach Guest is just Mike's just really funny, man. He had me cracking up the whole time, and then the ultimate happened. 2019-2020 playoffs. They match up against EA.
yep,
Uh, in
yeah, I remember that.
in the first round. That was my son's senior year, and man, that was like one of the most funnest games I ever got to watch. And I ended up coming to Parkway like probably a week and a half after the playoff game, for some reason or another. And I was just it was me driving me driving the Parkway kids about the dunk. The dunk was phenomenal. So I built a special relationship with Parkway kids after that. But it was really cool, man. Tell us a little bit about how you got into coaching and starting your journey into coaching and how you knew coaching was for you.
So, grew up in a house where my dad was a coach forever, 30, 31, 32 years or so. So he actually was the girls' coach at Airline in '92 when they won state. Now, with Coach Ward, who's now at Benton, Mary Ward, she was the star player on that team, scored 47 in the state championship game, and one of two state championships in Airline history. They have a football one in like the 60s, and then girls basketball in '92. But grew up just, coach's kid at the field, at the gym. My dad really specialized probably in football more than anything, but just a great coach all around. But growing up, come on, man, get in the truck. I got to go water the field. Come on, get in the truck. We got to go do this. Got to go do that. So just being around the sports, like literally my whole life, having people come stay at night at the house. So and so something happened at their house. They need to come stay with us for a few days. Just seeing the mentorship, servitude that my dad had growing up, and seeing these young men that maybe didn't have a father figure in their life. Just watching my dad just breathe wisdom and love into these kids, and it just kind of rubs off on you to a point where you're like, you know what, I see how fulfilling that is. I know financially it's not the glory or whatever, but building those relationships with kids that can look back and say, number one, those are the best years of my life, was playing with that coach and just having fun and enjoying the sport for what it is. And then number two is finding a father figure that can show me what it looks like to be a young man, and what it means to grow up, taking the correct steps and just following that journey. And then, of course, go to Airline. I get Chris White and Mike McConaughey, Joe St. Andre, and just other just upstanding, outstanding men that just kind of bled over into me. I mean, it seems like every year I just found opportunity after opportunity to be placed around these role models. Getting here to Parkway, Coach Rayner and Coach Guess, I mean, fantastic. You couldn't ask for better men to work under. And on the girls' side, Gloria. Now that Jeremiah Williams is here, her husband. I mean, golly, I would challenge anybody's circle of men versus what I've been blessed with.
Right, right. So you were traveling with your dad back and forth to the school when watering grass meant coupling 100-foot hoses together and
Yep.
dragging the sprinkler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't reach. Shine your flashlight in the hole before you reach. Might be a snake in there. I mean, just hard work. Got to go help my dad and paint the field, practice field, going there, filling divots. I mean, just all the hard work behind it all. Never got paid a penny.
So did you hit your dad with, Dad, you owe me a lot of interest for all that free work you gave me as a kid?
Hey, I'm gonna have to give him a call and tell him that it's time to collect.
Yeah, that's right.
He's gonna be my film guy. I think I'm gonna trick him into watching some film for me. I went and logged in onto my huddle at his house before our playoffs started here, and did it on purpose and didn't log out. So he called me, just knowing how he is. He calls me and said, "Hey, you left your huddle logged in. I have some notes for you for your first and second round team." And I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that would happen."
Yeah,
So
that's a great treasure to have a parent or a family member that was ingrained and engulfed in coaching, that you can go back and they I can't even say borrow anymore, because the new status quo is, if you aren't stealing, you aren't willing to win. So
yep,
that
coaches are the best thieves.
that you can steal information from. When you knew that coaching was who you wanted to be, what was the first thing that you did to help yourself get started on your journey?
I can honestly say probably since the eighth grade, I've thought, coaching might be something that I want to do. And while I was in high school, my dad would have me come to football tryouts And he's like, hey, you're going to do the drills for us. So my dad would teach me the drills, and I would go out and perform it so the kids could perform it after me. Same with basketball. Just I became an assistant coach for middle school while I was in high school. I mean, just getting plugged in. I didn't have an option at the time, but getting plugged in and getting to hang out around some of the younger kids as well and mentor them. And my dad just really building that bond between whichever student athlete and myself, and just saying like, hey, look, whenever you're around, you're gonna watch over him. He's got whatever going on. You're gonna love on this kid like it's your little brother. And so, I mean, my dad kind of pushed me towards that role. Strong lead there and everything. But I mean, it's just something my heart was led to do since day one.
The girl, what's the greatest thing you knew about yourself coming into your journey as a coach?
Gosh. Well, it's kind of that full circle moment again. Growing up, I was a hothead. Quick to pick a fight.
No.
Just you weren't going to talk about me. You weren't going to talk about my family. If it came to you thought you were tougher than me, then we were going to find out. Just a hothead. And then partly that was my dad as well. Just tough guy on the block, gonna stand your ground. But now that I've become into this leadership role, it's a different type of toughness. And it's the look. We can fight. I'm not gonna punch you, but we can fight. I'll yell with you. I'm not gonna stand my ground. We're gonna do things the right way. We're gonna do it my way. So being tough from a young age, physically and verbally, has bled over now into my young coaching career. Into like, look, if you just listen to me, I know you're not gonna like it, but we're gonna do it the right way.
You mentioned some really great names in coaching. Again, I've been a big fan of Mike Guesses. Um, since I met him, he coached the right way. Chris White has coached some of the best talent in the Shreveport metro area. I didn't get to see Coach Jeremiah Williams in action, but I've heard that he was one of Bossier High School's best. And not many people leave on a winning note like Coach Williams did, but I think I was told he won a state championship and then went to the principal's office. What do you learn from those guys as an assistant that you put into use on your young journey? And I'm not talking about what you're gonna use from a head coaching POV, but just things from talking to those men uh, and Coach Gloria Williams, who you coached under this past season. What have you learned from them as an assistant that help you build, develop, and grow young minds and skill sets and IQs?
Well, Michaela Williams, she has the best quote of it all, and it's just work. At the end of the day, it's just work. You can't just wake up and expect to be great. If you're not spending time putting up shots in the weight room, running on your own time, you're not gonna find any fruits. Your tree's gonna be fruitless.
Right.
And so that's a great one from Michaela. But with Gloria, those girls, they know that Gloria loves them with all of her heart, but they're scared of her. And it's great. It really is. It's great in the fact that those girls, if they mess up, they would come running to myself or the other assistant and say, I have to tell Coach Williams this. How am I going to do this? And say they got a referral or something like that, skip practice, because they knew that the wrath was going to come from her, but they were so scared of her, they weren't going to let her find out on her own. And so that stepping forward, just the level of respect that our girls had for her, wanting to do things the right way, even when they mess up, trying to make things right. Same with Jeremiah. Man, he rules with an iron fist. Golly, you talk about just a physical presence. He's got a loud voice. He's like 6'5", just a physical presence that as soon as he walks in the gym, you're like, oh man, who's this guy? and then he starts just dropping knowledge on you left and right, and then it demands respect and it demands excellence out of your girls, or in his sense, his guys. Over at Bossier, I'm sure he had some guys that were some knuckleheads, that they didn't want to do things the right way and all that. But when you're led by somebody that just bleeds excellence and success and dedication, you can't help but sometimes be led towards that as well. As much as you want to fight it, eventually that fruit's going to come forth, and that's just something that I hope I can breathe into my girls as well. Just the presence of, hey, when he's around, we're going to do things right,
Right.
and then eventually that turns into even when we're outside of the court, we're in the classroom, we're in our community, what would coach say if he caught me doing something, you know? So Chris White, guy, I'm still, I think, intimidated of him. He just would get loud so quick with us, just, kind of the same, just demanded for you to pay attention and do things the right way. Not that not that any of them were ever like aggressive, but it was just like, oh, get it right,
Right.
and all of a sudden you snap back into attention. You know,
Uh,
yeah, just same with our Parkway men's. I mean, they're just fantastic. I've just been so blessed. I really have with the coaches I've been mentored by.
right. As a young guy, you said that you've been able to go help skill develop at schools like Shudrin, um, the couple of the community colleges in the Shreveport Bossier area. What did you take into those sessions mentally, um, that you use presently to not and again, coaching is a two-part thing. I think the first part is being comfortable with who you are and what you know, and then the second part is importing that knowledge and imparting that knowledge into the young student athlete who may or may not have the reputable knowledge it takes to comprehend some of the tough skill sets that it takes to master.
Going into while I was in college, when I was able to work at like Shudrin and Acton Central and other high schools, I had never gotten to work with high schools because I was in high school myself, just fresh face and all. But like Coach Coleman, Micah
Yeah.
Coleman, it was at
Right.
Natchitoches, and he's another one. Just watching practice, seeing how they do things, and then once they led me to come out and kind of help out with practice, seeing just the high level of respect that they also demanded as well, but then also the pace. I never realized the pace of practice and workouts from a middle school to a high school level. I mean, when I was playing in college as well, I mean, I knew the pace was fast, but just kind of the transition through it all, Uh, and then also a big part is, I think, being able to demonstrate those drills and workouts to a level of, I mean, how can I expect you to shoot, 30, 40% from three if I couldn't do it
Right.
myself, type of thing. I'll never judge a big man for not dunking on somebody because I can't do it. It's kind of hard. I've never been in those shoes, and so, but whereas if I get a screen and I'm coming off a double screen and I catch it wide open, like, you better knock it down because I've been there. If I can do it, you can do
Right.
it. And so kind of the same thing with those workouts is being able to perform those drills, dribbling drills, shooting drills to the same level and expectation that I believe in them. So, I mean, I know I'm only 30 and I'm still relatively young. My knees haven't broken down on me yet, but I love getting out there and just working with them. We have after school workouts at Airline right now for about 30 minutes, and I'm drenched in sweat. And by the end of it, just rep after rep after rep, jumping in it with them. I'm not just going to sit down and, all right, you guys, you girls, y'all just do this thing. No, we're in it, gung ho. We're working, baby.
Hey, don't worry, that knee breaking down thing, keep waking up. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, that's just a part of life we do not control. Um,
Yeah.
can we talk about something real quick?
What's that?
Let's go here.
That's the goat right there. That's her.
Um, and I'm not, I'm not that smart of a guy. I get lucky at the lights a lot. I see Simone Augustus, um, Elena Beard, Tamika Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having.
I mean, she's up there with them. I mean, she's going to be one of the all-time greats.
One second, Coach. I just need 1 second. Uh, give me 1 second. 1 second. Uh, she's the head coach at Southern Lab. God, I'm so embarrassed and ashamed. So you have those four young ladies. Um, to me, and I don't know if this will ever change. Simone Augustus is the greatest female to ever play high school basketball in the state of Louisiana. If you ask someone from the Shreveport, Louisiana, they're gonna say Elena Beard. Period, hands
Mm-hmm.
down. If you ask someone from the New Orleans area, they're gonna say Tamika Johnson, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you ask someone from the Baton Rouge, Amy, they're gonna say Cheney. No, I'm having I can't believe this, but everybody know who those Southern Lab girls
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
not only how does or where does Markayla fit into the pecking order, but being that you guys have this is me being a little petty here, being that you guys already have Elena Beard, does that make Shreveport the greatest importer or exporter girls talent ever in our state now that you guys Markayla is
Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of time before Michaela gets her own statue at LSU. I mean, the things that she can do with the ball. And granted, yeah, I never got to coach the rest of those greats and everything, but I mean, she's transcended, to this her age. I mean, you don't mess around and get a top two ranking, by
right.
mistake. Uh, I mean, I would put my money on her against anybody, though. I know that. I mean, take take any of the greats. I'm putting my money on Michaela all day, every day. You know, she's just a different breed to it
She's
all.
definitely a different breed. Also, you don't get to the USA Women's National Team 3 summers in a row without being special.
Right.
So
Man.
how was it in being able to be a part of the magic that's called Markayla Williams every day in practice, seeing her in her good days as well as her not so good days, and how she commanded things in practice.
She probably could have coached the team better than we could have. I mean, level IQ's through the roof, and then kind of the same deal since she can perform at such a high level. It's hard for another girl to diminish any of her leadership just because she competes at such a high level. Uh, how's a freshman girl going to tell her anything?
Right.
Freshman only JV only girl. When she's the best to ever do it around here. But yeah, I mean, at practice, it's you tell her something one time, she gets it right. Or you pause practice for a second, and say, hey, let's look at this, and she's already interjecting what you're about to say, Coach. What if we rescreen the screen? Because the defender's trying to switch. I'm like, that's exactly what I was about to say. I mean, golly. All right, y'all, Michaela, just do it. Just she makes coaching easy.
Right.
And something that now that I've been over at airline for some workouts and all, I'm like, man, it's crazy just the level that she's at. Her being able to coach herself and make adjustments, play after play, not even during a timeout. She just knows what to do all the time. coaching girls up during games. Hey, look, I see you don't recognize that something's going on. This is what we need to do, and she just game plans it herself out there because she's been so exposed to high levels of basketball. Even without Team USA knowledge, I still think that she could, just coach things up. She just gets it. Special girl. I'm so lucky to get to have her. Plus the other talent that we've had here at Parkway. With Chloe Larry and
Right.
Lucy Henderson. I mean, just a lot of talent as well. And so it's made Michaela's life easy too to have 6'1" girls that can run and jump and catch all the flashy passes and everything, knock down after a crossover. So it's been great.
Coach McConaughey decides that she's stepping down. How fast did you decide to put your name in the hat?
Well, as soon as I heard that it was open, I reached out to the principal and asked him, "Hey, what do I have to do to interview for this job?" I was pretty excited about it. My wife and I we had talked. I mean, too many weekends about how nice it would be to get closer to home. Right now, I live in Benton right now and driving to Parkway in South Bossier, so it's like a 35-minute drive most days without traffic.
Right.
So airline's about 10 or 11 minutes from my house now.
Okay.
And so just how nice it would be to get back home and everything. And so once I heard the job opens up, I'm calling, resumes ready. You tell me when to show up and I'll be there for my interview. So
you've got all this experience listening, paying attention, following the directions of coaches that you've admired and seen your whole entire life through high school, through college, and now as an assistant coach. And now you're the guy who's making the decisions that will impact children's lives. What was the first conversation like that you had with your team?
The principal came in and introduced me to them all, and the last thing that he led with before letting me start talking with the girls was he pointed to a picture in the locker room of my dad's '92 state championship team and said, one thing I know about Coach Cox is that he doesn't want to try and match his dad's legacy, is that he wants to overcome it, and not be a legacy that you have to think about, but it's a legacy that you speak on, kind of like Michaela here. Like, people are always going to talk about her, but the girls that were around her, like, they might have to think about, wait, who was with her? Just because Michaela's herself, just, it's a whole nother leap forward. But that's kind of what I was preached to my girls as well. Like, look, what we're trying to do here and what I want to do is ingrain my name into the Hall of Legends here with the other airline greats, like Mike McConaughey and Larry Robinson, and people who have their names retired, and just, memorable names at the airline community. Hopefully that they can say, Coach Cox, younger Coach Cox, he won 2 state championships where his dad only won 1. Or y'all remember that time Coach Cox ran off 5 in a row? Or, just whatever I'm blessed to be able to do over there, which, they have all the resources in the world. That's the plan.
Right. Sometimes coaches get hired late. Coach McConaughey decided early that she was going to put it out that she was going to other endeavors. So sometimes most coaches don't get to have a spring
Hold
and
on
the
one second. My
summer.
audio just cut out. I had an alarm pop up. Let me see if I can refresh it.
I can hear you pretty good, Coach C.
Let's see. Now I can't flip my camera. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hold on. I can't hear you for some reason. I had an alarm go off on my phone. And let's see.
It should be a little arrow going towards
What did I
each
do?
other. There we go.
Camera. All right. Say something for me.
Tucker,
One more time.
Tucker.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. Golly. Let me try and take these out real quick. What about now?
A little low. Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, try one more time.
Can we continue?
Can you hear me? There we go. Here we go.
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Again, you've gotten to work with. No, we were past that. The process of getting hired early, getting to have a spring with your basketball team and do some stuff, strength and conditioning wise, or maybe teaching girls how to form, shoot, and then you get to take that into June. What's the June scheduling gonna be like for your girls?
So my wife and I, we're actually having a baby in June, and so I decided this summer to a little girl, my little girl, first one, but decided to take it an easier June. She didn't have any play dates set up as it was, and so since it was a little bit later, I just decided to get in kind of where I could. So we've got 4 play dates scheduled right now. 2 of them are here at Parkway, the 5th and the 12th, and then we're at Benton on the 15th and 16th. So just kind of staying local. I've got a little boy who's 3, who's a handful. I mean, he's oh goodness, but when you pray for patience, you get what you want. But he he'll have to come with me a lot this summer, and so he doesn't really ride the bus very well as a 3, almost 4-year-old. He's scared of the school bus, so just kind of makes it tough for us to go out of town on things. So I planned a lot of in-town stuff so that we can make that work. But it's just a lot of practice every day. Get any day that we're not playing, we're practicing. Just trying to get in the gym as much as we can.
What's the first lesson you try to teach your girls?
So in basketball, it's I mean all the nitpicky defensive principles. As simple as what hand are you going to lead with when you try and go steal a basketball? Just little bitty things like that. But as far as our team concept goes, it's just trust. Trust one another, trust in your sister, trust in me, trust the system. Trust your community that they're going to take care of you. Just all together, just trust. My first T-shirt that I plan on making, on the back, it's going to say "We, not me." The girls don't know that yet, but that's my idea.
I think
It's
they know it
we,
now.
not me.
I
What's
think
that?
I think they know it now.
Oh well, I hope so, because that's what I've been trying to breathe into them. It's just, I mean, you can't do it by yourself, And if you decide to break apart from the family, you just kind of isolate yourself.
Right.
And one of the examples I give them is, if you and I got into a fight, how would you want me to how would I want to hit you? Would I want to hit you like this as individuals, or I want to hit you like this together?
Right.
It's going to hurt more when we go into a game, go into a fight, and we hit you together. All five girls working as a unit. Really 10. We got more on the bench, ready to sub in, ready to scrap. But that's kind of been my two big messages I've been preaching to them so far.
Right. As an assistant, um, you were blessed over the last few years to just be able to say, I think this is what they said about Kobe, Michael, LeBron, KD. Just give them the ball and get the hell out of the way. How
Right.
do you create Markela through your offensive philosophies and principles at Airline?
A lot of things that I plan on doing is trying to get downhill and go get a bunch of layups. Love easy buckets, and of course some kick out threes. But you got to find a girl that's just got some dog in her. That at the end of the day, whenever I say I need a job done, we've got 10 seconds left to do it. Who's going to step up and take that job? And that job is to go get a bucket. Because I don't need girls that are going to second guess it. I don't need girls that aren't going to trust themselves or trust their teammates to help them get in the right position. And we've got one for sure that I know of, maybe two, that I think aren't afraid to step up to the plate and go get me a bucket if I ask for it. And but you just find those girls that really have that dog in them, and you work, and sometimes you have to pay a little extra attention to those girls offensively, and when they ask to get to the gym, and you cater towards that hunger of wanting to get better. You can't just, sorry, I got whatever else going on. Like, go open the gym up and let these girls work.
I've gotten to see some of the best in state on both sides. Kids that have what you guys call um, dog. I don't particularly care for the term. One even lived under the roof with me. That was phenomenally good. That came from a product of a body of work that started at 5, 6 years old. I've seen the Jalen Cooks and Biddy um, growing, building his arsenal or his bag, as you guys say. I've seen a lot of kids who have a bag. What happens when kids haven't been taught proper basketball etiquette, IQ, skill development? How do you reach those girls?
Well, with unfortunately my two that I have in my mind that I think are two of my better players right now are seniors, but I've got one that's a freshman about to be a sophomore that I know is pretty good, and with my older girls, you just sometimes have to trust them that they can make the right play. Just since I won't have the time to really breathe in those that philosophy into them, but with my young girls, they can't get rid of me. I'm going to be around for 3 years, so they're going to hear me say some things so many times that they can say it before I even get it out my
Right.
mouth. You know, and I've had a few even like during practice before I can say something like, "Coach just told you get your hand up and your foot up. Go deflect the pat." Thinking I'm like, "Yeah, you are picking it up. That's what I'm talking about." And so hopefully some of that stuff can just bleed over, into the girls that have that dog mentality. And I hate that some of them are about to be seniors, and I don't get to keep bothering them with my annoying little tendencies and all. But some of it's just trust, just like what I've been saying.
Right, right. Um, looking at it again. I don't know how. I know some coaches. The season ends in February for a lot of coaches because only 28 teams, I think it is, got to make it to postseason play.
Right.
Uh, scheduling. Were you have you been able to look at or make changes or edits to the schedule, or was it already made?
It was pretty much set.
I don't know what some changed, Coach. Your volume went way low. That
Hey,
yeah, that's better.
okay. Uh, I had to change one game. I had to drop one. Um, Coach McConaughey has ties back to the Lake Charles area, and she had a couple of games head down there back to back to back, and I had dropped some of those just so that I wasn't on the road so much back to back to backs and all. And but other than that, I mean, it's a pretty solid schedule. She's got us in some good tournaments and everything. And I mean, next year uh, we're probably going to take some lumps after this next season because I want to start trying to front load it with as many good teams as possible before we get into district. And I mean, that was what we started doing over here probably 5 years ago or so. And I mean, it's done nothing but just build tough girls that know how to win games against good competition.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up, man. Always just makes my job a lot easier. Um, Knowing the best tournaments and going to the best tournaments are usually based upon relationships that you cultivated over the years with other head coaches. Uh, First head coaching job, where do you stand on making sure that you're starting your own coaching family friendship relationship with other coaches across the state, or is it just a I'll travel I-20 east and west?
Right. We'll go play anywhere at any time. I mean, I don't want to play some big dogs. I look at schedules sometimes. I see these teams that sneak in as like a top 8 seed, and I go and look, and they've played nothing but Class C and B schools, 1A. And I'm like, well, that's how you won 26 games. Is you played a bunch of small schools. Yeah, they won a bunch of games, but you just beat up on schools that are playing eighth graders and freshmen out there instead of. There's been years. Washita a couple of years ago,
Whoa, whoa,
they
whoa,
started like
whoa,
they started like four seniors.
whoa. That's a rule here on Off the Bench Sports Prep News. We don't talk about the big
What's that?
O. We don't say nothing bad about my alma mater.
No, no, no. It's
Okay,
good. It's
okay.
all
I
good.
had to
This
just,
is good.
I
No,
understand about
they
that. I meant to give you that disclaimer before.
yeah they a couple of years ago when they had LaFasia Green that played that went over. I think she went to UL and played. They started like four
Yeah,
seniors that year, and so like sometimes you don't see teams that are and they were great that year. They whooped us, but they uh, you know teams like that they played everybody. They played for the state championship game that year against
yeah. I
Benton,
think that was
and
2020.
like 20 I think so 2019 or 2020, and but I remember looking at the schedules that year and looking at their schedule, and I think we actually played them twice. They beat us once and then we beat them, and but knowing how good that they were as like maybe 1 or 2 seed or something like that. And I don't remember what other team it was that year at like a 5 or 6, but I think they played like 7 games in a row of Class B through 1A. And I was like, they're going to get slaughtered whenever they go to Washita and have to play against these giants that they had over there that year. And they did. And so, I mean, that's just, lesson learned again on that. Just, you know, I, I'm not going to play a bunch of Rudy Toots and just front load my schedule and go 21-0 or whatever before district. Then you fall off in our tough district that we have up
Right.
here in girls basketball. People start asking what happened. Well, I played a bunch of shoe drinks all day long, and they had a couple eighth graders out there, and it was maybe a down year or something. Just small ball schools as a big 5A. I don't like seeing teams do that.
Yeah,
Now, if shoe drink, I don't know if you remember Cedar Creek a couple of years ago. They had the girl that went to ULM that was so good, Sarah something, scored like almost 30 points a game. Yeah, I'll go play her. I want to see a small school that if they got some hoopers, yeah, we'll go do that gladly. But I don't want to play just nobodies just for the sake of it.
yeah. Right, right, right. I think you just keep helping me out, man, and that's when interviewing is so wonderful. And it's probably going to be our last topic. And again, thank you for bringing it up. Airline, Parkway, um, Calvary,
Captain Shreve.
Capital, Evangel. I mean, Evangel.
Okay.
Is it No, Evangel is BTW. I'm sorry. Um,
Evangels, what they were in our district, and then they changed
yeah, to 4A.
classifications. Right.
So Southwood Airline, Huntington, not Parkway, Benton,
Benton, Hawk,
Houghton.
uh,
Yeah.
Bird. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
man, Car-
It's a tough little
not
district.
little, not little. If you ask, so for me, it was growing up. It was always Ruston, Washita, uh, Neville. Even though they were in a different class back then, they fluctuated.
Right.
But here lately, I think the people are not gonna like this, but 1 5A, 2 5A, and 5 5A and 6 5A have been pretty much the SEC with respect to Madison Prep um, and University and Port
Right.
Allen.
Yeah.
They've been the SEC of high school athletics. Uh, how do you as a young first year head coach against crafty veterans who are going to try? I'm telling you, they're going to try to manipulate you.
That's all right. I'm lucky to have been in this district to already be surrounded by it, you know. And I'm just so glad that I'm not coming from an outside district entering into this deal and realizing like, oh man, y'all are this is a juggernaut system over here. You know, you Tuesday to Friday, whichever team you're playing, you might go get thumped, you know, and uh, especially like God, was it 2021 or 2020? Benton and Captain Shreve played in the state championship game. Benton beat us in the third round over here, and I mean we had three teams in the top six. Uh, Actually, I think we had four in the top seven. I think Southwood was like a 7 seed that year or something. And I mean, you know, if you don't come with it on a Tuesday or Friday, you're gonna get spacked big time. And as soon as that final buzzer goes, the other team's coach is gonna come over, shake your hand. Good game. I know it's a 40-point game. Good game, coach. See y'all in 3 weeks. You know, it's just business over here. You know, uh, I mean, my first year over here, we weren't very good, and I think we won maybe 3 or 4 games or so. We'd get beat by, 40, 50 points or something. And to the example of that, my dad was the assistant coach at Benton, and they beat us by 46 points, and then asked me to come eat dinner. So I mean, it's just
Did you go?
business. It's all
Did you
business over
go?
here. No, I did
I
not.
don't blame you.
Sure
That,
did.
that
No, I
better
was
be
mad
the
at him that night.
competitive
But
fire you have, or you're in trouble.
yeah, I might have said some words if I went to dinner that night. But yeah, but I mean, it's just business over here. There's so much talent, year in, year out. Like Captain Shreve had a spurt where they won 2 in 3 years. Before that, they had been district champs 2 years in a row. Before that, Benton got hot and had some talent come through, and Parkway's been on top and everything. Houghton's got a good young team right now. I'm not really sure what Bird and Southwood will have coming back and everything, but I mean, it's it's no cakewalk over here for sure.
Right, right, right. Are you worried about how you will be perceived in the coaching realm?
If we start thumping people like that,
You're thumping
is
people?
that what you? That's the plan.
Did you grow up watching Mid-South Wrestling as well?
One of my best friends was a big wrestling fan growing up. That's one of my favorite terms. Is getting
I know that's a wrestling quote.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, my first 3 years when we weren't very good, we'd get beat by 30 or more, and people just come shake your hand. Good game, coach. And now that I've seen it, it's nothing personal.
Right.
It's just that my girls are better than yours. It's all business, and I fully expect it when you're on top and my team is down, you come thump us. It's all good. I don't want your girls to stop scoring.
Right.
I don't show me any mercy, because when it comes to state championship games, semifinals, there ain't no mercy. Ain't no mercy. So go ahead and prepare them for war every chance you get.
Right. Hey, man, it's been nice chopping it up with you, Coach.
I appreciate you.
Anytime, man. You're welcome. Anytime. You're part of the Prep News family now. Anything that we can do to help bolster your program, phone call away.
I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, once you get to airline, do me one favor, and that is tell my bro, man, tell my little bro Eddie Hamilton, big love, big ups. Man, he's one of my favorite people in the whole world. And so he will also, I'm sure, be a great mentor. And, just get it done, man.
Yes, that's the plan. Hey, I'll be sure to deliver that message for you today. I'm gonna give him one of these too for you.
No. That big strong dude, bro. You better not do that. And he's one of the most non-violent people I know. But this right here is. Let me go back a little bit more. This right here is a big hug. Right here, he's gonna go into athletic mode, and he might try to box you back out, bro. I'm just saying. Nah.
Well, hey, that sounds good. I appreciate you having me today.
Anytime, man. It's been awesome chopping it up with you, getting to know who Tucker Cox is, not only as a coach, but you also are a true competitor who has not taken for granted the things that he's learned, not only growing up as a young kid, having a father that's been in the coaching arena, but again, you've taken advantage of being around all the great coaches from the Shreveport-Bossier metro area, and you crafted your own style and image. And that should work miracles and wonders for your program. And we congratulate you for those efforts. Now, you still have to do the work, but you said you were ready to work.
That's right.
And that makes
it's just work. That's all it is. It's just work.
So, hey, any final thoughts, man? Any final thoughts? What you got?
Man, if anyone who's watching, man, I hope y'all come check us out for a game. Come show some love. Come holler at me.
Right. Hey, come holler at my guy Tucker Cox. Prep News. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.